Apex Nation, and welcome back to some more Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. Hope you guys are having a great day. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, comment down below, check the description, join the Discord, drop a super thanks. There, that's all the YouTubey things. And Doki Doki time. So we have two side stories left, and if this one ends fast, with within a half an hour range, we're gonna do this one. One episode, we'll do both of them if they're that fast. So let's go. We're so close to finishing this. Am I bothering you? No. Okay, just checking in. It's hard to tell since you always look you're so into what you're reading. Makes me scared to interrupt. Well, it's within my expectations to be interrupted when I read here. It's mainly when I'm by myself, I don't like it. That makes sense. I guess if you're here in the first place and you're more ready to socialize, even if it takes a little bit of prodding. It's not so bad to be social if I let others do the work. So it can be healthy to put myself in social environments every now and then. It's mostly difficult when I don't know anyone, or there are too many people, or everyone is being too silly for me to keep up with. Yuri glances around the room at Sayori and Nasuki. Sayori has her head cocked back and her mouth open, trying to catch a piece of a cookie that Nasuki is lobbing into the air. But the piece keeps bouncing off her face and hitting the floor. Maybe I should say something. No need. They'll just run out of cookie. What a waste. You're really becoming a good friend. So, they are, that is. Haven't they? I'm happy. Sayori seems particularly good at making that happen. But the two of them are both on the energetic side, so I suppose it works out well. Yeah, come to think of it, you and I haven't had the chance to talk one-on-one, have we? Though that may be partially my fault, since I'm supposed to be the one engaging club members. Yeah. No, not at all. I've probably formed a habit of drawing minimal attention to myself. The responsibility is equally on me, at least to display some openness to engage. Well, what about during times like lunch? Do you meet up with friends? I just read. Oh, but I like it that way. It feels nice to be carried off again after a morning of classes. Do you always read fantasy? Oh, not always. I suppose it's all I've read recently, but only because I'm in the middle of the series. There are still 2 more books after this one. Guess those long books suit you well, since you spend so much time reading. Well, fantasy may be my favorite, but after that, I'm more or less indiscriminate to genres. I'll read anything with depth and maturity. Oh yeah? Even like romance? Well, there are a lot of books that have elements of romance in them. Oh, come on, Yuri, you know what I mean. Monica lowers her voice. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, so I won't tell anyone if you do, too. Maybe more when I was in middle school. I mean, I was really lonely and people were mean to me a lot. So it kind of felt like, nah, please don't make me think about the past. Sorry, I just got super curious. You know, we should totally pick out a romance novel to read. That'd be so much fun. Absolutely not. Really? Even if it's just between us? Try asking someone who has no shame, like Nasuki. Ouch. Oh, sorry. I swear I didn't mean that. Well, I guess it's my fault for pressuring you. I'm like that for things in my past, too, you know? I feel too embarrassed to re-experience. There's nothing wrong with growing out of things. It happens to everyone. For instance, Nasuki's interest in manga reminds me quite a bit how intense I used to be about my own interests. Makes me think that she will likely grow out of it, too. Hey, you talking about me? No, we were just talking about how our interests have changed over the years. When did you get into manga, Nasuki? Like a couple years ago, I guess. I was already sort of into it before that, but I wasn't really going hard until then. Going hard. Oh, yeah? What was it about that? What was it that inspired you to get more into it? I don't know. I guess. Let me think. It was after I discovered a series that I really liked. Yeah, I was like really fed up with a lot of things, and I got super into this one series that I really related to. I guess I had an edgy phase where I hated everyone around me and wanted to be by myself. Ha 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 ha. Hey, kind of like Yuri. No, Monica? Sorry. That's completely wrong. So, it's still cool that you both really found your thing. They're almost like opposites, but it sounds like they helped you out through a lot of hard times. You know it! Wow. What the heck? Is that book even bigger than the last one you were reading? It's technically slightly longer, but not by very much. How high do you think it would go if you stacked up the whole series? Nasuki estimated her hand above her head, sizing up an imaginary stack. I should get one of those mangas. That's like 50 volumes long, so I could say I've read more than you. Haha. Not that I have the money for that. Please. Oh boy. That would hardly count when your books only have a few words per page. I know, I was just joking. I could never actually read books like yours. It's too boring for me. Yuri shoots a glare at Nasuki. No, she didn't. She shot a glare at Monica. It's not boring. Chill, except for me, not for you. I have my own opinion. I just think it's too convoluted. Sorry? Are those from the floor? Ah, gross. Also, wash your hands before touching any of my books. But my hands aren't dirty. Just do it. The oils are there even if you can't see them. Fine. Sari trots out the door and Nasuki follows. Yuri, you look a little upset. What kind of nerve does she have to call my hobby boring? Well, she did correct herself. Hardly. She was so condescending. I don't mind if she thinks it's not for her. I understand that it's not for everyone. But she knows well how much this means to me. So how about it just leave me alone instead of needlessly telling me the things you hate about it? I'm sorry, Yuri. You may be right. This won't be the last time people have strong feelings about what they think and don't like. What they like and don't like words. Especially in a literature club. So I figured out how to mediate discussions to keep them positive and constructive. For the record, I've always been impressed by the level of creativity in your books. Also your ability to keep them and get through them so quickly. Thank you. Okay, well, this is something that I think I'll have to think about and revisit. I'm sure I can help Nasuki find some common ground with you. Common ground isn't necessary. I just wish to be respected. Then either way, I'll do my best. I'm skeptical when it comes to Nasuki. I trust you, Monica, but I'm skeptical. And part 1, that'd be awesome. Of course not. Okay, everyone. Yeah, you still got that, huh? We have a special club meeting today. As you know, the Literature Club is a place where you get to share things that you're really passionate about. But that also means we should be mindful of how we respond to each other's feelings. I think that we have a chance to turn our differences into positive energy for each other. Aren't you being a little dramatic about this? This is important to me. Well, sorry, I just feel like I'm being accused of something. No, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. Sorry if I came off that way. But our conversation yesterday made me reflect on the power of language. And I thought it would be a good topic for the Literature Club, don't you think? You're gonna lecture in a Literature Club? Come on, man. I'm sure we're going to have differences in opinion a lot, so I need to make sure we're prepared to keep a positive atmosphere in the club. If you say so. Sure. The cool thing about language is it gives us a lot of different ways to express the same idea or emotion. We have a lot of control over how we want the other person to feel when receiving our thought. This goes for poetry, narratives, casual conversation, basically anything. For example, Sari, what's your favorite food? Everything. I have them organized by category. Should I start with snacks? Or do you mean full meals? Should I include breakfast? Oh, jeez. Alright, how about your favorite fruit? Oh, that's easy. Cherries. Really? I always thought cherries tasted nasty. What? Cherries are delicious. Whoa, that's a pretty strong reaction. Well, I just don't understand how someone could think cherries taste nasty, because everyone has different taste buds. How does it make you feel? I don't know. Sad? Defensive, maybe? Yeah, I got defensive. See, the reason you had such a strong reaction wasn't just because I don't like cherries, it's because you feel your opinion was under attack. But that's weird, right? Something like taste is completely subjective. But when I say something like, I think cherries taste nasty, I'm using objective language. I'm challenging Sayori's reality that cherries are delicious with my own, which is that cherries are nasty. Wait, hold on. How is that objective when you just said it was your own opinion? It has to be with the way your brain interprets the words. You're talking about reality of cherries, but not your feelings about them. Like Sayori. Let's rewind for a second and pretend I didn't tell you that I think cherries are nasty. Good. So, what if instead of that I said, like, I've tried cherries and they're not for me. It's not the kind of flavor I enjoy. Well, that's fine. As long as you don't call them nasty. It's key words, I guess. Nasty is a nasty word. Okay, so cherries was kind of a weird example. But I think it gets the point across. This time around, instead of talking about cherries, I just talk about my feelings, because Sayori didn't get it defensive. So instead of clashing each other, it's like we received an invitation to talk about our differences. Yuri, you don't need to take notes. I'm not going to quiz you or something. I know that. I was just, sorry, I didn't mean to call you out. You can do whatever you like. But does anyone have any thoughts so far? Yeah. I feel like I shouldn't have to put all my language through a filter just to protect someone's feelings. Well, you don't have to. The choice is yours of how you want to come across to other people. I'm only suggesting to use it as a tool to help turn your differences into a positive experience rather than an argument. You too. Right, Sayori? Whatever you say, cherry hater. Oh, come on. Sorry, I actually like cherries. I was just saying that to help demonstrate. What the heck? I've been duped. I'm sorry, Sayori. I'll make it up to you later. How about a cherry sundae? You are welcome to dupe me anytime, my beloved Presidente. Buying your people's loyalty. How deplorable. Oh, like you would turn down a free sundae, Yuri. You were certainly a fan of those cupcakes I brought in the other week. I was reading and not keeping track of them. Oh, that's enough. We're getting off topic. So, now that you have a thought, or that you have the gist of it, that is, how about we try with something more relevant to the club? Like manga, right? Oh, you're being called out. Let's try to have a productive conversation, or discussion, about our differences in opinion. Yuri, do you want to start? Well, I'd rather not. No. Oh, come on. Well, because I don't see how anything productive can come from that. It's just gonna start a fight. No, it'd be fine. That's why I'm here to moderate. You say that, but Sayori was the one who did it, not you. Let's just have we gotta remember, these side stories have nothing to do with the main game. Let's just have a calm and rational discussion. Yeah, give me a little more credit. I'm not a child. I don't have to coddle my feelings. You don't, that is. I always think it's more respectable to just speak your mind. Respectable. Yuri's expression changes at that word, as Monica recalls being respected was a crux of the matter for Yuri. Well, the point of this exercise isn't exactly like, it's fine. I have nothing against anyone personally. You're entitled to enjoy whatever it is you like. I just prefer more depth and nuance in my reading material. I look for stories that are imaginative and sophisticated beyond the surface level. Oh, well, that's just a misunderstanding then. I thought you were gonna say that manga's for children or something. Like I don't hear that enough. Well, there's plenty of deep manga. I'm not clueless about manga. I read my own fair share when I was younger. What? Are you serious? How come you never told me? Because I'm past that point in my life, and I really prefer not to revisit it. I prefer more mature things now. Excuse me? Okay, hold on. Can I jump in here? Let's try to keep things subjective. Because if you imply that manga is immature, then you're implying that someone is immature for being into it. Well, maybe it's immature to judge people for having different tastes than you. Natsuki? Nobody's immature! I've read Natsuki's manga and Yuri's fantasy, and I love both of them in their own way. Okay. It's great that you like it, but I still find it boring. Boring isn't subjective. Okay, it bores me. That's subjective. But, I mean, the thing about this is ridiculous. Do you see why I don't want to participate in this? I knew it was just going to make people upset. I'm not upset. Like I said, I don't care what other people think. But I also got the impression that you secretly look down upon me. So I'm glad my suspicions were confirmed. It's not true at all. You're making assumptions. You can't blame me for getting defensive when nobody ever has the least bit of respect for the things that I'm into. The only thing I look down upon is when people make fun of me or for just being myself and trying to mind my own business. What? Have you looked in the mirror? Tell me again about respect after calling out my interest immature. You can't. Please stop. Please. You don't mean the things you're saying right now. Let's just be friends. I didn't mean for this to happen. Well, it did. So please don't invite yourself to try to solve all the people's problems next time, okay? Yuri's piercing words send the club room into a choked silence as she gathers her things. She leaves. Holy crap. I've never heard her sound like that before. She must be ticked off. Well, you weren't very nice either, so I was just saying, how did this happen? It's my fault. Yuri wasn't wrong. I should now try to moderate a conflict when I know how bad I am at dealing with conflicts. It was really stupid thing for me to do. It's nobody's fault, and it wasn't stupid. Everyone in the club is a nice person. Nobody would have expected this. But I guess we're sensitive about the things we really love. Honestly, she kind of brought it upon herself. Like I said, I don't care if you're not into manga, but if you actually look down on other people for it, it's kind of the point I was trying to make in the first place. It's not about sugarcoating things, it's about reorganizing and understanding our differences. Okay, but here's the thing about that. Yuri actually looks down on me. It has nothing to do with her word choices or anything like that. So, I see what you're trying to do, but I really think the problem here is her, not it's just like the way we talk to each other, right? I mean, Yuri isn't like that. She's a lot sweeter than you give her credit for. I'm sure she'll be reflecting on this. I actually think everyone should. It'll be fine. I'll figure something out. Wow. I'm just like saying that instinctively. I'm just setting myself up to cause more problems. This wasn't your fault, Monica. You don't have to beat yourself up over it. If you ask me, it's good that the truth finally came out. Because I can just move on now. But, it's fine, I promise. Let's just get our minds off this, okay? In fact, it's a good opportunity to read some manga without having to worry about feeding Yuri's superiority complex. Don't be mean. I'll talk or read manga or whatever you want, but just don't be mean to my friends, okay? Sorry. I'm just bitter. Everything will be okay. I mean, I don't have the answers, but at least I know we're all good people and I don't want to hurt each other. This will be a learning experience. Monica says that, but her uneasiness is given away by how much she has to force the reassurance tone in her voice. This was bound to happen eventually. Natsuki and Yuri have always engaged with each other in the least out of anyone, and this is the reason. As Sayori and Natsuki proceeded to distract themselves with manga, Monica sighs to herself, unable to shake her worried thoughts. Will the club really have to just go to terms with the fact that some members will be incompatible with each other? Monica desperately doesn't want to admit that, and she knows Sayori doesn't either. But for once, a solution doesn't seem to be in sight. End of part 1. Hey! No pictures! 25 musics. Reflection part 2. Let's go. A new day arrives. Sayori arrives in the club room earlier than usual. That is, not late. As she enters, it appears to be empty still. So she sits down at her desk and pulls out a sheet of paper, primed to jot down her thoughts. Sayori has made a habit of scribbling her thoughts and feelings onto a paper whenever possible, as it tends to serve her best inspiration for poetry. My heart feels vacant because a ship sailed away. Ah! Yo! Natsuki! Natsuki pokes her head out from behind the closet door. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. But it would have been a lot more awkward if I didn't say anything. I tell you want me listening to your poetry thing. Yeah. Thanks for realizing that. Should I let you finish up that then? No. I wasn't. I mean, I just do whatever it's convenient. You're not interrupted. Where's Monica, by the way? Oh, she's out in the hallway. Huh? Why? Well, just in case she runs into Yuri. Sometimes Yuri is too nervous to come in the club room by herself, so... Oh, jeez. Does Yuri really let things bother her for that long? She can't control her feelings. For some people, it's really hard to cope when you get a bad thought in your head. Just speaking from experience. Maybe you could distract yourself for a little while, but as soon as it's just you and your thoughts again, it comes back. Uh-huh. I just want us to have a normal club meeting. It's a lot easier to pretend like it never happened if we all just ignore it and move on. I don't want to be bothered by this. It's so stupid. Her opinion doesn't matter. Her opinion to me doesn't matter anyway. Besides, it makes me feel really guilty, and I hate it too. It's okay to have feelings. It doesn't make you weak. Let's figure this out together. Fine. Only because you're good at this stuff. Let's try to come up with a happy scene. Maybe that'll help us understand where our bad feelings are coming from. Well, I was happy the way things were before we had that conversation yesterday. What part of the conversation made you upset? Was it Yuri being mean about the manga? Maybe. I doubt it though. Because my friends and other people make fun of manga all the time, but I just brush it off and ignore them. But something about it really got me to me this time, and I hate that I'm letting that happen. It's because it came from Yuri? No. Why would that matter? I mean, well, maybe. I hate that she thinks she's so much better than me just because she likes to pretend to be all sophisticated. Yeah, whatever it is, at least the other people decided they don't like me or manga or whatever. But Yuri acts like she's too good to even give it a chance. I'm sorry. Everyone deserves a chance. Yeah, exactly. Would you give Yuri's book a chance? Ha! After this? Absolutely not. What about before this? Well, I would until I got bored, which wouldn't take very long. But if you actually keep an open mind, then it's not hard to realize that a story can be deep and meaningful without being needlessly complicated. I see. But you know, I like Yuri's books. Yeah, but you like manga more, right? Yuri shakes her head. I like them both. I like them in different ways, but I like them both. I mean, the manga? It's really honest and fun and easy just to let go with. And the fantasy books has a lot to interpret and uncover, and it's really rewarding to have some good quiet time together with it. But the most important thing is that both manga and the fantasy are true to themselves. So I love them both. And I think there's room for both of them to be in the same club together. I just feel like manga, maybe they have more in common than you would think. How do you get along with everyone so well? I always get in fights with people. Like first it was with Monica when I was new to the club, and then it was with you, and now it's Yuri. And I'm always like, oh, that person is being such a jerk. And if they just realize that, then we could get along, words. But no one else has this problem. I just keep running away from the reality that everyone's a jerk to me because no one likes me. And I don't know why. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I hate it. Natsuki. Sari puts a comforting hand on Natsuki's shoulder. You're a wonderful person. You deserve to be loved as much as everyone else. Everyone has different ways that they like to communicate, you know? And sometimes words, that makes it harder for us to understand each other. I think that sometimes we get lucky and we make friends who are really good at the same kind of communication, and it feels like you magically connect with them. But other times, even if both people are really nice, it's easy for them to misunderstand each other or get the communication wrong. It's something Yuri struggles with a lot too. It can be really hard. It takes a lot of reflection and self-awareness and vulnerability. I'm bad at that one. Vulnerability. I always have to be the strongest. What do you mean? Tell me about that part of you. Well, sounds stupid, but I'm really used to people being mean to me. Like my friends, and I guess my dad. Like when I don't get good grades or even stupid things, like if my room isn't clean. So what am I gonna do? Cry about it? If I let myself get upset, then I'm just letting them win. I'm better than that. I'm better than all of them. So, things have to be everyone else's fault. Feels like if something goes wrong, there's even the tiniest hint that it might be my fault, then I just get really angry, and I find ways to blame everything else instead. Do you see yourself as better than Yuri? If I said that, then I would just sound really full of myself. No. Our thoughts and our feelings are two different things. Even if we don't like our feelings, we have to understand them if we want to learn more about ourselves. That's a part of vulnerability, you know? Accepting that we have feelings that we don't like. I hate that. My feelings make me a bad person. Because my feelings just want to tell me that I'm so much better than her. She's a judgmental know-it-all who's stuck in her edgy phase, and I'm just way above that garbage. But I'm terrible for feeling that way. You're not terrible. You're not your feelings. But you're not your feelings. Say that to yourself out loud. Fine. I'm not my feelings. The way that I like to picture it is that those feelings are like your roommate. You live in the same house and you gotta see each other every day. Even if you can't ignore each other most of the time, you're gonna run into each other every now and then, and it's gonna make you feel like poop. So, the other opinion is to get to know each other. You can communicate and learn from each other, and maybe even help each other change for the better. Does that help you understand? How do you know so much about this stuff? I just have a roommate that could be really hard to get along with. Call it depression. Depression? But you're like the happiest person I know. I'm not my feelings. I want to be a good person like you. Aw, you little sweetheart. We're all good people. You and Yuri and Monica. And I think Yuri will eventually learn that about you. Yasuki remains silent, feeling a little overwhelmed. I wonder if they're outside the door listening. Despite Yuri's kind of reassurance, a complicated mixture of pain and sadness seems to fill her, as though flowing from a wound inside her. Was it a result of her vulnerability? No, it wasn't as though she was inflicted a wound upon being vulnerable. It was a thought she began to rediscover an old wound, that one that cannot simply be bandaged and left alone any longer. I don't think we have that scene yet, so that might be one of the backgrounds. Yuri, what are you gonna do? What are you doing all the way over here? I was looking for you. Please don't yell at me. Oh, I'm not gonna yell at you. I just wanted to say that I'm sorry about what happened yesterday. It was unfair for me to put everyone on the spot like that. Next time, I won't just try to jump in and solve everyone's problems. I guess it's a bad habit of mine. You're not mad at me? I thought you were the one mad at me. I was so awful yesterday. Yuri curls up, recalling the details of the argument. I can't even have a normal conversation without saying something wrong and making everyone upset. Hold on. That's not what happened at all. Let's talk about this, alright? Yuri pauses for a second, then manages a nud. Monica takes a seat next to her on the staircase. Soccer tryouts! I'm having a lot of negative thought patterns, and I can't get away from them. What kind of negative thought patterns? Like everyone hates me, especially Natsuki. Oh, that's terrible. I don't think Natsuki hates you. How do you know? Well, because Monica thinks back to the time that she herself found out. Hang on. Monica thinks back to the time that she herself found herself in an altercation with Natsuki. And how a display of maturity from Monica was enough for Natsuki to reevaluate her own feelings as well. I think Natsuki is just naturally defensive. think she acts mean when she feels the need to protect herself. But she's actually really not a bad person. I think she can be really thoughtful and considerate. She's just, well, I guess the way it works is that she wants to receive some degree of kindness before she feels comfortable returning it. Oh. But that means the burden is on me, and I don't know how to say things to make people like me. Every time I open my mouth, Yuri shakes her head at herself and tugs at her hair. It's okay, Yuri. You don't need to beat yourself up. I think anyone would like you if they had a chance to get to know you. Well, unfortunately, the opposite is true. That's why I'm not talkative anymore in the first place. Because everyone used to think I was just weird and talk about how I'm back. That's just what happens when I draw attention to myself. Misuki even said she found it more respectable when people speak their mind. So I did, and she hated me anyway. That was enough to confirm my fears. But Sayori and I like you, and we've gotten to know you a lot by now, right? Yuri doesn't seem to have a response. Hey, what do you think of Nasuki? I don't think about her. That's not what I meant, really. I was just wondering if you had an opinion of her. I do. What is it? Nasuki seems to bring out the worst in me. I feel really ashamed of it. And I like to think of myself as a fairly sophisticated person. So for someone to just treat me like I'm inferior, despite my taste, that's just the worst kind of insult coming from someone like her. And it makes me think bad things about her. But everyone else seems to like her, so the only explanation is that it's me who's doing something wrong again. And my feelings about her are wrong. And I'm wrong to get upset over something so childish and inconsequential. No, Yuri. Feelings are never wrong. Well, they're not right. That's the thing. Feelings are never right or wrong, They're just a state of being, and that we don't always have to control over them. But that doesn't mean they have to control us. I feel like that sometimes I learned around when I first started the club. We can hate ourselves for feeling a certain way about things. Or we can, just acknowledge they exist and try to understand them better. I can never be mad at you for just feeling a certain way. It's about how you handle them. And I think working through feelings is a great opportunity for teamwork. Yuri wears a dejected expression. It makes me sound so easy. You make it sound so easy. You're so mature and so good with people. I feel like such a child in comparison. Oh, Yuri. I'm far from perfect. But these are skills that don't come naturally to me either. It's really hard to reflect on yourself and separate your feelings from your thoughts. I just want to be a good person. Well, I think it takes a good person to get this far. That's not good enough. I want to be able to communicate with her. Communicate what? How I feel. How it makes me feel frustrated and upset when she's so negative and dismissive of things that mean so much to me. And how it reminds me of me. Because I know what it feels like to misunderstand and angry at everyone. I know that telling yourself you're better than everyone else is just a defense mechanism. We're just people. We're fragile and unstable. But I'm just tired of that getting in the way. You can't stand it when the peace is disturbed like this. Yeah, you can't focus on your reading when your peace is disturbed, right? Because the literature club should be happy for everyone. Monica looks at Yuri in adoration. I feel like Sari must be rubbing off on me because I really want to hug you right now. Sorry. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. No, well, if you wanted to, then it would have been mine, so... Monica pulls Yuri into a short embrace. You're so gentle. That could have been a CG. I have like 4 of them to get. And I love when you communicate your feelings. I feel really lucky to get to see this out of you. And I'm sure Nasuki will too. I'm going to write her a letter. Oh, a letter. What a great idea. Just because I'm not good at talking, especially under pressure, I always let my feelings get the best of me, and I forget to say all the important things and say things I don't mean. Well, I think a letter would be wonderful. Such a nice way to communicate. Yuri's face hardens with determination. People don't naturally gravitate towards me like they do for you and Sayori. My personality just isn't suited for that. And I wouldn't want it to be. But something I've learned is that friendship don't always just magically appear out of thin air. For instance, I would never have seen myself making friends with someone like Sayori. We're opposite in a lot of ways, but I'm friends with her because she puts so much effort into understanding me so that we can get along. I think it's the same for you. You both gave me a lot of time and patience. And I wonder if she feels the same way. Nasuki. Yuri nods. Did she say Nasuki? She did. Okay. For some reason, I'm like, wait, that makes sense? I always thought that if I wanted to make friends, I had to be somebody that I'm not. That there's a type of person or a magical formula I have to follow in order to make someone like me. And that's just like me to think that, always so occupied with myself that I fail to understand other people. Yuri shakes her head. Friendship happens when you think about the other person. When you offer time and effort to understand them and respect them and trust that they always want to be a good person. That's what I learned through my obsession in the literature club. Observations. Monika is caught by surprise. Yuri has always kept to herself so much that it's so unusual to hear her suddenly talk about the club like this. But Yuri gently smiles to herself. You always let me listen to your thoughts about people. Sayori too. And it makes me happy because I learn a lot of things. That's so sweet. I had no idea it meant that much to you. Monika never thought about it, but in the past week, Yuri always seems to be especially attentive when it comes to problems and concern of others. I always wanted to listen and learn more about our friends in the club. It's true. Sayori and Monika are naturally more comfortable with each other and can more easily work through situations of conflict. But that doesn't make them better people. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses and capacity to improve. And first step towards improving oneself is reflection and self-awareness. It's something that Yuri never gave herself enough credit for, but that Monika can recognize as an incredible trait. And with that, her confidence in the club is restored. End of that thing? No, I didn't think so. What? A very shy girl with long, pretty hair is wandering the bustling lunchtime hallways, her fists pressed into her collarbone. When she finds the Literature Club Presidente's classroom, she stands at the door, glancing all around her before peering inside. Monika is sitting and chatting with a group of unknown friends. Yeah, as expected, this was a bad idea after all. Suddenly, Monika glances towards the door, making the girl panic and duck out of sight. Before she can regain composure and decide for sure to leave, the clubroom door gently opens. Yuri? What a surprise to see you during lunch. Yuri squeaks in response. Squeak! Please help me. What? Is everything okay? Yuri shakes her head. I don't know how to write letters. Ah, thank goodness. I thought you were some kind of emergency. Monika briefly glances over her shoulder at her other friends. Do you want some help? We can go find an empty classroom or something. Is that okay? Itchy nose. I feel bad for taking you away from your friends. Yeah, screw them. It's totally fine, I promise. We weren't actually doing anything. One sec. Monika trots back to the classroom, says something like, I gotta go, to her friends and grabs a pen off her desk and returns to Yuri. Okay, let's find somewhere quiet. Yuri nods and follows Monika as the two of them set off. How are you today? Huh? Me? Well, yes. Haha. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I was just caught off guard. I'm doing well today, just tired. Never seem to get enough sleep during the week. How come? Did you just... Am I still recording? Yes. Kind of sounded like we had a little bit of a power drop. Better not lose power. I don't know. I think it's just... I don't know. I think I'm just easily distracted. I get really sucked into things and start neglecting all the time. Neglecting the time. Me too, I guess. Wait, shouldn't say that. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Me too. I do that too. Haha. Hey, this classroom's empty. Let's go in here. Oh, is it a different one? Is this going to be a thing? After peering inside, Monica opens a classroom door and the two of them enter. Is it different? Yeah. Yuri's moment of reflection ends. She watches as Monica pulls two chairs up to the same desk. Then obeys as Monica beckons her to seat. She stares down at the empty desk. You nervous? I don't want to do this. We don't have to. We can come up with something else. Yuri shakes her head. It's my chance to do something good. I need to take initiative. Gosh, you must be really determined. I know how hard it is to step out of your comfort zone. I'm sure. I'll be sure to encourage you. Yuri pushes through her anxiety and grabs a handful of lined paper from her notebook. Then, she picks up her pen. Hey! Aw. Hey, you're left-handed. That's neat. Screenshot. Yeah. Now I don't have to worry about bumping your arm. Monica playfully rubs her shoulders against Yuri's. Sorry, I'm just being silly, I guess. Anyway, how about we start listing the different things you want to say about her to her. Yuri thinks. I feel embarrassed all of a sudden. It's okay. How about some things you said to me yesterday? But never mind. I guess I'll try. Yuri thinks for a moment longer, her tension evident. Then she writes the word reflection. This is about my reflection on our behavior. The key question is why we act like this towards each other, but have been able to separately be friends with Sarah and Monica. That's me. Yes, it is. So, Yuri thinks. I've been able to befriend the two of you because you've taken the time to understand my needs and respect my interests. Same goes for Natsuki too. We started off as pretty hostile to each other because I was so worried about getting what I wanted, but she just wanted to be respected more than anything else. Once I stopped making it all about me, she was able to do the same. I want to do that too. They're looking at each other. That might be a better screenshot. So what kind of things do you want to do for her? I want to do the same things for her that I like to receive. I like it when people respond positively to things I talk about, not just brush me off. I like it when my feelings are taken seriously. I like it when you and Sarah trust that I want to be a good person, even when I'm not doing a good job at it. Let's write these things down. Okay. Yuri writes some things down. I think the most important thing is to remember here that Natsuki is feeling vulnerable. So we should make sure the letter puts her first. It's hard when your feelings hurt, but it never helps to just tell someone all the things they're doing wrong. I think first you have to make sure they know you're ready to respect them and listen to them and admit the things that you feel you could do better. Then finally, you ask, what would you like in return? How does it sound for the structure? It could be 3 paragraphs, 1 for each of those points. I like that. My thoughts are so disorganized, I have no idea how to come up with any kind of structure. You're so amazing at these things. Oh, stop. You've done so much more than I have, you know? You spend so much time reflecting and being open-minded. That's the hardest thing to do for anyone. All I'm doing is helping you put it on a piece of paper. So, I think you're an amazing one. Monica gives Yuri's hand a quick squeeze. Squeeze! Which end? I'm not gonna go there. But as she lets go, she's caught by surprise when Yuri curls her fingers to hook Monika's hand in place. Aww! For a while, they sit in silence, save for the occasional scratching of Yuri's pen against paper. Yesterday, you told me something that I'm thinking a lot about. What was that? The thing about how feelings aren't right or wrong, and that they're just a state of being we need to come to terms with. And maybe think about how a person's behavior isn't always just how they decide to be. It always made up their past experience and their insecurities. I think that it helps me see other people as actual people rather than as insufficient side characters who were out to get me somehow. Is that how you feel about Natsuki? Yuri nods. But in reality, everyone is always trying their best, and everybody wants to be happy. Monika peers over at Yuri's paper. But to her surprise, Yuri pulls it closer, partially covering with her arm. Haha, I have to be able to read it to help you, you know. It's okay. My thoughts are a lot more organized now, after being able to talk to you about it. Now that I'm actually putting it on paper, I realize I prefer others not to read it. Yuri laughs softly to herself, a rare expression. I'm kind of glad to hear that, actually. I somehow keep find ways to butt into this whole thing. I've done enough damage, haha. But it's also been so wonderful talking about this. I mean, I always thought you were really smart, but Yuri smiles. I'll always be terrible at these things. People are just so incomprehensible. Incomprehensible. That's how you say that word to me. I'll never get the hang of these being one words. Ha 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 ha. But listening to you so much has really helped me make sense of things. So just don't call it damage, please. Monika gives Yuri a gentle smile. Silence. You never know what's going to happen when those silent parts happen. I can't believe I came to this club looking for fantasy geeks. And all I got was real friends who value me. Is that a joke? Of course it is. Haha, still can't tell with you. Sorry. No, I love it. Please never change. As you wish. Yuri glances at the clock. Oh, we're almost out of time. Will you be able to finish it? Before the end of the day, probably. But I don't want to come to the club the same day Natsuki reads it. Too shy. I can give it to her. Instead, if you like. Yuri nods. As long as you promise not to read it. Of course, I promise. Thank you. Yuri exhales, the two stand up. I'll message you when it's ready. Monika nods. Good luck. I'm here if you need me. Yuri returns a nod, and the two depart. Oh, we don't even get that. Okay, that's going to be the part of the next side story. Okay, cool. Hey! Finish side story reflection 2. I like that one. She dropped all the paper. Doesn't know how to organize her thoughts, you know? So it's all scattered. That one's cool. Yeah, that's all wallpapers done. All poems done. 3 CGs to get in this last one. That one's nice. 3? I think I missed something there. Secrets are done. Background, final background. Sketches are done. That is the last one for completing either all the side stories or getting 100% data. I really hope I didn't miss something here. I don't think I did. I remember looking up a guide on how to unlock everything. And I believe everything from like this point right here, everything down here was all side story related. Because this is the last one you get from the story. One of these might be like finish all side stories or something. I don't know. Can't quite remember. But we're so close. We're so close that I'm going to record the next episode, last episode, final episode right now. And then I'm done with Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. Such a good game. So much fun. Been having a blast with it. It's going to be sad to see it go. But thank you so much for joining me on the adventure so far. Hope you come back for the final episode. I think. Unless I missed something. Then we might have a bonus episode to figure out what I missed. And yeah. Take it away, outro me. Thank you so much for watching that video, and if you liked it, make sure you give that video a like, and also comment down below, and while you're here, subscribe for more amazing content. And go check out another one of the gaming videos over on this side, and then you can click up there, right up there, boop boop, and you can subscribe, or head over to my hobbies channel over here, where you can watch me paint Optimus Prime, you know, the Transformer, more than meets the eye, over there, and also subscribe by clicking up there. And until next time, I'm ApexReaper. Y'all stay positive. Thanks for watching.